What's going on, family? Bless up. Before we jump into this episode, I just wanted to leave a quick little intro and say everything that happens in Keys, everything that we talk about in this episode is all very simple, very achievable, and very doable. The hard part is actually doing it. So, learn from my mistakes. When you're hearing something that sounds like knowledge and information you already have and you already know, take the time to give it the background perspective and say, am I applying this? Enjoy. What's going on, family? Bless up. This is Theodore Helvivier, aka Big Teddy, and welcome back to the More Than Just Surviving Life podcast. So, something we're going to talk about today is the keys to the castle. Something I personally hate and something I tried to correct with the book, and something that we're going to share and work on now is when I'm listening to something, when I'm getting into something, and I'm really getting motivated by it, and it's all of these ideas and these goals and these plans and these things I can do, but there's never any concrete information, right? So I've read a bunch of different books. I love to read about motivation, about becoming better, thinking better, learning. We all have to start somewhere. And I'm telling you, and it wasn't until I got to the Rich Dad, Poor Dad books by Robert Kiyosaki that I really read something that was like, oh, this is how you do it. You know, for me, it felt like everybody was just saying, get rich. This is how you get rich. This is what you do with the money. This is how you, but that doesn't help me if you're not telling me how to get it, right? So today, what we're talking about, what we're focusing on, is actual steps that you can take to achieve these goals that we're talking about, things that we're working on, things that we're reaching for. And we're going to try and toss as many ideas out there as possible and places that you can search and look for these ideas. And the reason for that is this, something that I harp on in my book, something that I talk about with you, and that I'm going to keep talking about with you is there is no one answer that works for everyone. There is no one answer that works for everyone. And the point of me telling you and teaching these things isn't to get you to think my way or try my methods. It's to help you find ways that work for you and find and figure out your own methods. And if mine work for you, great. And if I help you find someone else's that work for you, even better. And if you can find your own, fantastic. As long as you get moving forward, that's all that matters. The other reason we talk about different methods is this. And what is important to know is that the amount of ways the amount of ways to reach any specific goal are limitless. So, for example, an example of the no one answer works for everyone is you got to know your limitations. When it comes to working out for me, home working out doesn't get it. Walks don't give me the same impact. You know, I can walk, I can go around the neighborhood. It's not going to give me the same quality of workout that I'm looking for. I can have a full list of different exercises and workout techniques and all of these things that you can work out in your home and get the full gym experience. If I'm not going to the gym and I don't have the machines around me, I'm not going to work out. Now, no matter where my gym is, as long as I have access to it and I can readily get to it, I'm going to do it. But I know my limitations there as well. So, if this is my setup when I'm thinking about working out and being active and being consistent, you got to know the things that are not going to happen. I'm not going to work out in the house. Not going to happen. If I leave work and I go back in the house, I'm not going to leave again to go to the gym. Okay? If I try and go early in the morning, it's not going to happen. So this is a specific set of criteria that narrows it down for me, but I know my optimal settings for getting my workout in has to be evening or afternoon, has to be after work. I can't come back in the house, so I got to have my gym stuff. Once you learn what makes you fail, you have to start setting yourself up to win. This is also why we talk about figuring out what's wrong, finding the problem first, learning to understand the problem so that you can develop the solution in the after as a result of that. Having good knowledge about what's bad and then making it work well. Am I doing right or am I doing wrong? And if I'm doing wrong, am I doing it right? So, different methods for becoming active goal achievers. Step one is list. Something that I tell people in the book keep a notepad. Keep a notepad on you at all points in time. Physical helps. Physical is better. It's more concrete. You have to carry it with you. It's tangible. Seeing something written down on paper has a very different effect on you than you would think. There are so many things that we don't really get the full impact of until we see them written down on a piece of paper. There are so many things that we don't see the full impact of until we speak them out loud after we've read them written on paper. Okay, I have all of this technology around me that I use to manage the business and all of these things that I work on. My iPhone 6s Plus and my laptop for traveling, and I used to have the iPad that I would do all of this work on. Honestly, right in front of me right now, pen and a pad. Pen and a pad. Concrete way to transfer my thoughts. Okay? Making lists on a solid piece of paper. That's one. Two, the second one that I use very actively that's very important to me, reminders. It doesn't matter what type of phone you have. Almost every smartphone comes with a reminder function to remind you of something that you want to do. For me, the problem isn't really being lazy or not getting to something. I'm a great self-motivator. I'm very thankful for that. I'm very happy with that. So if I say I want to do something, I'm going to do something. What hinders me, what stops me from doing it, is remembering to do it. I had kale in the fridge that I wanted to cook. Kale sat there for days because I couldn't remember to make something with the kale. Just wasn't in the mood. Finally, I set a reminder for myself because the kale was going to go bad. The kale got made. It's not always being stopped by lack of desire. Sometimes it's being stopped by a crap memory. So if you know that your memory is not great, set up methods for yourself to get the reminders when you need them, where you need them, no matter how you need them. And it also comes back down to really caring about and really wanting these things. If you've hit that point and you've learned how to get there, then we don't even need to worry about that conversation again. If you really want it, you can do it. Because if you don't really want it, you don't really want to do these things, you don't really want to get better, no matter what list or reminders or goals you set up for yourself to help reach them, not going to happen. It's not going to happen. When it came to saving money, I had to make it almost impossible to touch my money until I learned how to get better at managing and not spending my money when I wasn't supposed to. So in the very beginning, I asked for help, which is something that's important to do. If you have people that you can trust that are willing to help you, ask for help. When it comes to working out, when it comes to saving, when it comes to reading more, when it comes to eating healthier, almost any goal is almost tripled in how fast and how easily you can achieve it if you have someone you care about to help you with it, and someone that cares about you. The buddy system works. The buddy system works in nearly every aspect of life. Okay, so that's number 3. Ask for help. When I wasn't good again at managing my money, first I would ask someone I really cared about. At the time, it was my partner to hold on to the money for me and not give it to me once my bills were paid. Okay? And to get managed there. And then when I changed countries and I needed to save, I would put money every payday, an amount that I didn't need to touch once all my bills were paid, into my PayPal. And then I would transfer it from my PayPal to my Canadian bank account, because you can't just transfer money very easily from bank accounts in different countries. So having to do that chop up, the amount of effort that it took me to get the money back to me, by the time I would have gotten it back, I didn't need it anymore for whatever I wanted. And if I didn't need it anymore, then I didn't need it in the first place. Set up obstacles for yourself. If you're trying to stop yourself from doing something, opposed to starting yourself doing something, make it almost impossible to do. We do it with everything else for the things that we want to do. Okay? There's 3 solid concrete ways to achieve goals and do better and get started on moving toward these paths. Like I said, the most important part, which we're going to talk about next time and which we'll talk about a little bit in every episode, is your mindset. It's acknowledging I have a problem with this. It's acknowledging I need to work on this. It's acknowledging I want help with this. It's acknowledging I want to do better, and then figuring out how we get there. You're reverse engineering answers from really knowing your problem. Okay, because you have a lot of people that experience their problems and think they know their problems, but don't. They haven't looked at this. A lot of people don't say, how can I do better? How can I change this? The number one response to most people going through a situation is, why me? Why does this always happen to me? How does this always happen? Not to insult anybody, but one of my favorite responses to that question is from an episode of That 70s Show. Eric Foreman, the main character, is sitting at the kitchen table, and he says, why do bad things always happen to me? And his father said, it's not magic. You're a dumbass. And it was grimy, and it was super funny, but essentially it was, you make poor decisions. You make poor choices, so bad things keep happening. Okay? Prevent problems before they become problems. You got to know your limitations. Again, another example, another story. I'm very bad at holding on to things when it comes to certain things. So I used to work at Coach, and we had a private chef, and his food was pretty decent, but he used to make these crab cakes that I loved. And I said, you know what? I really would love to have some of these later, but I'm just not going to buy them. I'm not going to do it, because if I buy them, I'm going to eat them all right now. And I really let somebody gas me up. And I knew myself, but they thought they knew me better. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And they said, you're a grown man. You really going to tell me as a grown man you don't have the willpower to not eat all of these crab cakes? You can't just take them home later? You can do it. Stop being ridiculous. Go buy the crab cakes, and then you can freeze them later. To this day, I am salty. You know why? Because I went and bought 6 crab cakes to take them home and freeze them later, and I ate 6 crab cakes just like I knew I was going to do, because I knew my limitations. I tell people all the time, I am a person that you can never say, wow, he lacks confidence. Wow, he doesn't believe in himself. No, it's not. I have a healthy respect for my limitations. There's almost nothing in my mind that I ever look at and say, this is not achievable. My question is, how do I get there? I'm always working at getting there. So if I honestly say to someone, this is not something I can do, this is not going to work out, it's never a lack of confidence. It's me knowing myself. Okay? And again, what we talked about in the previous episode is you learning to understand the difference in those things. And you learning to understand the difference between self-doubt, self-deception, and then really understanding your limitations. When you have a better understanding of what does and does not work for you, it is so much easier and more realistic to achieve these goals. And I'm not even going to run on and make this a super long episode. I'm going to stop this pretty short here, because there's no need for us to beat this one into the head. We gave you the first 3 steps that you need to start making solid, realistic goals and changes. And anything after that is just rambling. So we're just going to do a recap, okay? Step 1, make list. Make list that you can look at on a solid piece of paper and say, this is what I'm working towards, and you have something to strive for every day. Step 2, set reminders. Use your phone or your computer or whatever's always in your hand to set reminders for things that you want to do that really matter to you. Step 3, ask for help. Ask for help. If you know you have a limitation, if you know you have a problem, use the buddy system. Ask for help and get someone you really care about to help you move forward. Okay? Reverse engineer your problems. What am I doing wrong? How can I make this better? What do I have control over? And that's where we're at with it. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for being a part of this process with me. We're going to keep doing it every day. We're going to keep coming for this more and more until we get better, and we're going to keep doing it together. You got this. I believe in you. Bless up, family.